Very good morning to all of you. So today I'm going to discuss you the one very important concept, that is the Rousseau's theory on the social contract. So in this theory, what Rousseau has basically tried to talk about in this theory, through this theory, he has tried to solve the problem of inequality, the problem of freedom, the problem he has encountered through the enlightenment, or you can say through the modernity. He has said that there are several loopholes, several outcome, or you can say that the product of modernity is the corrupt mind. So he was trying to cure that corrupt kind of thing, and he has tried to make such kind of system where we can overcome from all forms of the problem, which we have discussed in the previous lecture also. So he was trying to give a medicine to solve the problem of inequality, problem of liberty, problem of discrimination, corrupt mind, corrupt soul. So he was trying to give the medicine for that. Uh, and in this regard, you can say that Rousseau was trying to take back the human beings to the primitive era, or in the era where there was no such kind of corrupt mind and corrupt thoughts was there. So he was trying to provide the liberty to all the person, and along with this, he was also trying to provide a method and technique that how can we overcome from that kind of situation. So as in this slide you can see that Rousseau has said that man is or was born free, but everywhere he or she is in the chains. What does it mean? He said, as we have discussed in the previous class also, he said that when we born, our mind, our thoughts are like tabula rasa. We are blank sheet of stone. We never have a feeling of self versus others, but it is the education, it is the society, it is the current the contemporary world which corrupts the human mind. So we have seen in that previous time. So what he was trying to say, in the primitive stage there was no such kind of corrupt mind, corrupt thought, or such kind of feelings were there in the people, and all the people living in a very peaceful life, and there was no inequality was there, means there was no corrupt mind, corrupt soul, corrupt activities was there was people were living a life where they were not aware about this is mine and that is yours. And so he was trying to say through the this history which has in the history what has happened, we have developed the knowledge, we have attained the reason, we have attained done the industrial revolution, or the industry has been established by us. So these things has given us the reason, and that has made the modern society. So and this modern society has corrupted the what to call corrupt mind, as it has been discussed by the Thomas Hobbes, that how the all human beings are driven by their desire, all human beings are driven by their self interest, all human beings are driven by the sake of power, all individuals want to attain the power. So you can see that how the Thomas Hobbes has already mentioned about this corrupt mind and the corrupt soul. So we have means we have discussed in the previous lectures also that how the issues has been created. In this regard, Rousseau has talked about in his book The Social Contract, the what is the social production of the liberties there. So he said, by nature, all human beings are free, but it is the education, it is the society which makes the what you call hindrances, or you can say which makes the restrictions to the people. So how did we get into the situation? So he has discussed in his book one of the social contract, chapter 2 and chapter 3, that by nature it is there, and it is not by the by the justice. How we get into this situation? So he has talked about it was not by the nature nor by the justice, but it was by the what we call the development, by the growth of what we call as a industrialization or modernity. So he was trying to talk about that thing. What he was talking about, the liberty, why we need the liberty. He said that liberty is one of the important components. Without liberty, all individuals cannot capable enough to survive or perform their activity. So he has talked about the liberty is one of the important act, and in this regard, he has talked about that liberty is important because can see that slaves are not free. They are not free to do all the work. So he was talking about how the idea about the slave has been created up, how the idea about the slave have evolved. So he has talked about how the corrupt mind have tried to capture the self-interest, or due to that, the method of slavery have evolved in the primitive era, or you can say also during the period of industrialization, or as Aristotle has also talked about, even though Aristotle has mentioned that slavery is a natural phenomena which has been discarded by the Rousseau. Rousseau has said that it is not the product of nature, but it is being created by the human mind and the human activity. So he was talking about that thing. So in the Rousseau social contract book, the liberty is one of the important aspect. Important aspect means that all human beings can perform the work only when he or she or they are free to do the act. Means, for example, if you are attending the class, either it is for the sake of to teach the others, or either it is to sake the for the sake of to understand or for your career, but it is possible only due to you have the liberty to attend the class. If you don't have the liberty to attend the class, or you cannot participate in the education institution, so this thing has been a question by the Rousseau. In this regard, one very interesting fact is reminding me. You can imagine about those students whosoever have not or who are not capable enough to what to call participate or go to the college or the universities, or to go for the higher studies, because either they are poor, either they have not scored good marks, or either there is third any other reason is there, means family issue may be there. So you can say that how this is also kind of inequality, and one person is not free enough to attend the higher education. So Rousseau was trying to say that uh, if any person want to do the help of others, that can be only possible when a person have the liberty or freedom to do the act, or freedom to do the activity. So he was talking about in that manner. He was talking about the freedom in a very positive manner, because he said that freedom is what you call important thing, and in this regard he has said that freedom means to help the others. He was not talking about freedom to consume the alcohol or nicotine or harming the self. So he was talking about that means in a freedom in a very positive manner, freedom for to do the activity without harming self or the other person harming. So he was talking about in that manner. Now I would like to come to the point that after understanding all these problems, first of all we need to understand his social contract. So we need to understand what is the social contract basically stands for. The social contract is a method, or you can say it is a technique by which the several philosophers like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and the Rousseau have tried to build a government, or try to build a state where the people can overcome from various forms of the problem or various kinds of the issues. This thing has not only been started from the Thomas Hobbes, but Socrates has also used the social contract argument while the time of explaining the Criteo, that how the what you call why he must be remain in the prison and accept the death penalty. So we can say that the social contract theory, which we are continuing from the Thomas Hobbes, it has a very long or the past root is there. So there are several theories are there related to the social contract. One theory is basically trying to talk about the people are trying to be part of a state to form the government and to what you call to protect their natural rights, like we have discussed in the Thomas Hobbes, that how Thomas Hobbes has talked about the Leviathan, that we need a Leviathan, we need a system which can protect the individual rights, or right especially related to the right to life, and they are only be a part of state till the time their natural right is been protected by the Leviathan. On the other hand, we have seen that how the John Locke has talked about all the individuals have what you call participated in the forming government to protect the natural right to life, right to liberty, and right to property. So he was talking about all the individuals have joined the or participated in the forming government for the natural rights. So he has also said that both the person have said that if there is any threat to any person's right, so Hobbes has said that person can withdraw the social contract. On the other way, the John Locke has said the people can change the government if the government is not capable enough to protect the natural right, so we can change the government. So we have discussed about all the things that how this idea about the social contract has evolved. In this regard, some thinkers have said that the social contract have evolved since the primitive era, before then the Hobbes, when all the people think and they felt that they are safe and secure under the rule and the regime of the monarch or the king. So they felt more safe, more secure in the monarch regime. So the idea about the what you call the social contract have evolved from that thing. So we can say that the individual conscience is there to be a part of a state, and that thing we have discussed in the things in the previous lectures also. So, if you can talk about the Rousseau, that what he was talking about, what kind of liberty, what kind of to remove the inequality. So he was trying to talk about the natural man versus the rational man. In the book 1, chapter 8, he has talked about the natural man versus the rational man. He said that natural man is what you call the person who is not driven by the self-interest, whose thought, whose activity is not based on the corrupt mind and the corrupt soul, whose activity is based on the others, whose activity is not only based on the protection and the promotion of the self. So he was talking about in that manner, and he has talked about the what you call the civic liberty also. Civic liberty means without harming the uh, other person's liberty. We need to use we need to utilize our liberty in such a manner so that it should not harm the liberty of other person. So you can see that how the liberty thing has been discussed uh, by the Rousseau. So in his book, before writing this the social contract book, he has written the discourses on inequality, the origin of science and arts. So he has talked about that how the corrupt mind and the thought has been what you call evolved. So he has mentioned about the problems in the other two books. So in the social contract book, what he was talking about, that principle of political right means how we can make what you call how we can make a government that should be based on the general will principle. We can make a government which is not divisible, or which is permanent in nature, that cannot be divided among the people. That is a kind of body which will represented by all the people. So you can imagine in this classroom of all the students are here. So his idea about the government means that all the students are the part of government. No student is left in the government. Means the class representative means the combination, or you can say that all the students are the part of this classroom. So so this thing has been mentioned by the Rousseau. So Rousseau has questioned the representative form of government or representative form of democracy. He said that the best form of the democracy is the direct democracy, and he was talking about very small state. He was talking about his form of the government. The general will form of the government can only be possible in a very small state, and only with the model of direct democracy. How? Now, for example, if in this classroom we can discuss the point that do we have any next functions related to the February? So what seminar, what activity can we do or can we organize in the February? So there will be all you will participate in that decision, and you will say that this a event is good because it will help the love or for his what you call for his study. Other person will say that we need to do the b day because it will help the other person. Means all of you are participating in the decision making process first. Second, no person is taking the decision on the basis of self, but all the person are taking the decision for the sake of others interest. And this is one very interesting fact is there. Whenever in the Indian parliament or in the USA parliament or the British parliament, you can observe that all the parliamentarians, whenever they pass the law or whenever they participate in the law making process, they never say that this law is meant by me for myself. They always also says that this law is for the others, for the benefit of the society and for the benefit of country. So you can imagine one thing, that the ethos, the core point of all the laws, whenever it has been created by any country, the ethos, the core of that law is not helping the self but helping the others. So same thing has been discussed by the Rousseau. So Rousseau has said that all the people will participate in the government, and they will take the decision, and there will be decision will be taken by all the persons. So he has used the term general will. Means general will means the what you call the collective view. It is more than the sum of all, but it means that all of us are taking the decision, first thing, not on the basis of self but on the basis of others. Second thing, there is no what you call the difference of opinion. Means if we have said that on 5th we will celebrate the Basant Panchami, so for the other student, so all of us are agreed that on the 5th of February we are going to celebrate the Vasant Panchami. So we have decided the date, not for, and there is no doubt, there is no question mark is there in any person's mind. Second thing is that. Third thing is, it is based on the collective. The decision is totally based on the collective rather than the individual basis. And the last is most important thing. Rousseau has said that the all the person is trying to take the decision on the basis of the interest of other. So this thing he has called it as a popular sovereignty. Means the popular sovereignty means that all the people have the participation, and the sovereignty lies in the all the representative, all the people. Means the general will is the popular sovereignty. If you can ask me what is the nature, what is the feature of popular sovereignty is there. So according to the Rousseau, the popular sovereignty basically means the general will. So he has talked about the popular sovereignty is the general will is the popular sovereignty. And what are those key characteristics, key features are there of this popular sovereignty? So Rousseau has said it is not being transferable, means it cannot be transferred from one person to another person. On the other way, he has also said that it should not be divided. We cannot do the division of the popular sovereignty or the general will. So he has talked about in that manner. So you can see that how the Rousseau has talked about that the liberty which we are talking about is that liberty means how it will help the decisions related to help the others, to help the other person. So he has talked about the liberty thing. Just wait. Yeah, sorry, there was one call. Yeah, so what I was talking about, he has talked about the liberty is also one of the important component in the social contract. So according to the Rousseau, the under the social contract, all the persons liberty has been increased rather than the decrease. Means there is no restriction. Means the liberty is that all the person have expression, freedom of expression is there, and all the persons are taking participating in the decision making process and the that thing decision making activity. So Rousseau has basically tried to give the more importance. What do we say about the person who did not value this kind of liberty? Means to what you call, to respect the other person's liberty. So that's kind of problem he was trying to sort out. So he said such kind of person need to be educated. We need to provide the education. So how we can build the social contract? The question here is that how we can build such kind of social contract where all the person will think for the others, not for the self. How we can what you call, build the human beings which is not driven by the self. So he has talked about that uh, all human beings need to be trained by the education method, and he was talking about the ethical education. So he was talking about this thing. So in the social contract, we can ask the question like how should I live, what is the justice, what would be good life for me, for you, for us. Animals can't do this. So he was trying to raise this question in the social contract. So the first thing which he has tried to answer the question in the model of questioning the thing, that how do we realize this society? For example, that how far this our society is being divided in terms of gender, caste, religion, color, class. So we can see there are several forms of the discrimination, what you call inequalities there, or differentiations are there, or we have created the difference between the several perspective among the people. So first of all, he has talked about that we need to what you call find out that how we can create a state where all the people can remove this kind of inequality to treat gender based or religion based, caste based. So that can be only possible through the education and through the ethical education, and we need to build a human being. So he was talking about to construct the individual. Also he was trying to talk about how we can construct the individual, and how we can construct an individual, and that thing only be possible once you may be part of such kind of system or such kind of practice. For example, if in this classroom any student have started a practice, new kind of practice to help the other, you can say that how the Unnati has started helping the Anushka. Means she has said that if Anushka can achieve the highest marks in the class, that will be the victory of not her, but that will be victory of mine. So same kind of activity will be started by the other person also. Means Anushka will also feel same thing for the Unnati, so she will also do the work for the Unnati. So both of mutual what you call mutual consensus will build, mutual support will build. So he was talking about such kind of activities. In this regard, he has said that, for example, if you are taking the decisions related to the self, so Rousseau has said that this is not the real liberty. Means you are binded by the your own thought. You are ridden by your own activities related to the self. Means you are mentally not free from the thought of from the thought of self to the other. So he was also talking about the such kind of liberty in terms of helping others, means not bounded by the self. So that's why he has said that how the civic or the civil liberty will produce in that situation, in that kind. So he was talking about in this manner. So in this, this is one of the very good quote the Rousseau has mentioned, that how we can make the individual in terms of overlistic kind of human being, or how we can develop the human being into the what you call the moral kind of thing. So he has talked about in this book that it is very important part to transform the human being to not to driven for the self, but for the driven for the others. So we are trying to develop a civic sense, or we are trying to develop a civil liberty where the individuals are talking about the liberty not for the self, or taking the decision not on the related to the self, but for the others. In this regard, the Rousseau has criticized the John Locke's theory of natural right, where all the persons are participating in the forming government only for the sake of protection for their self liberty. So he has said that all human beings are not what you call, they don't have the real liberty, because all human beings are totally driven by the self based liberty. Means for example, if you're taking the decision only on the basis of self, so Rousseau has said that you are not free, you don't have the liberty, because you are totally ridden by the fact of self rather than the others. Means you can't able to take the decision related to the others. So Rousseau has falsified the Locke's notion of the liberty, and he has said that society is not a club or the voluntary organization. Society is a mutual what you call the benefiting or doing the work for the others rather than the self. So he has talked about in that manner related to the social contract, and he has said that the thing which has been discussed by the John Locke to form the social contract is not correct, because if all the persons are only participating in for the purpose of self related rights, so that will not make the happy state, and all the person always will try to protect and promote their self interest, self what to call protection liberty. So in this way you can find that the problem will evolve, and the inequality will always be there, or the liberty will never be there. So he was trying to talk about that thing also, and he has criticized both John Locke and Thomas Hobbes related to their natural rights, and both the social contract. He said the social contract theory which has been given by the Thomas Hobbes is basically trying to create a monarch, or trying to create a certain kind of system or certain kind of body which is highest, or which is the most powerful body, and that is nothing else or none other than the monarch form of the government. So he has criticized that Thomas Hobbes was trying to make monarch as a normal, not a normal human being, but as a extraordinary human being. So Rousseau was trying to build a social contract where the equality will persist, equality will be there, and where the mutual general will principle will be there. So he has talked about in that manner thing. So now I would like to discuss you what is the general will concept is there of the Rousseau. So according to the Rousseau, the general will is the you can also say that general will is a popular sovereignty, or social contract can be defined as a general will principle. So each person will take the what you call take the decision power to the common cause under the supreme authority of general will. Means all the person will do the activity under the principle of general will. So one very good example is there. Now in this classroom, the general will is a form of law. You can you can say that general will is a form of law. Means you have made the law that now future onwards all the students will make the notes for the other persons, for not for the self, but to help the others. So you can make certain kind of law or certain kind of rule for the society, for the state. So he was talking about in that manner. He has said that it will always, the general will the law is always been beneficiary to the individual. It is not related to harming any person. It is always in a positive mood rather than harming any person. And in this general will, he has said all individual will sacrifice their self-interest. Means no person will be trying to take the decision of be a part of the general will on the notion of personal thoughts or the personal interest to protect and promote the personal interest. So all the persons are participating in this general will for the common good and for the benefiting the to benefit the others. So he has talked about in that manner. The question here is that how the general will be discovered. How can we identify the A law which we have created in the classroom is do we have that general will in that A law is there or not? So in this regard, he has said that no person. It first of all, it will not going to harm any person. Second thing, it will not be based on the self-interest or the person have what you call supported or help made the general will or the law for the to protect and promote the self-interest. Third, it will not create a distinction or the division or you can say inequality in the society. It will work or it will benefit equally to all the persons. So he has also talked about in that manner. And he has said that general will is not a form of democracy, nor the monarch, nor other form of the government. General will is a what you call is a form of actual will. So he has talked about in that manner that general will is a form of actual will, not the real will. Real will means the will of all the person, but it is based on the based on the principles of self-interest. But here are some important conditions which I have already mentioned you that all the person will think listen the voices of all the persons means all the person have the right to make their voice make their present what you call raise their voice and suggest whatsoever their feeling is there, and it will establish the equality. It will concern for the common cause. Means it will not give benefit to any one particular person or two person, but it will help the all the persons, and it is not only for enacted for the self-interest basis. It is interest for all the persons. So this thing has been discussed by means it has been mentioned by the Rousseau. So till now we have discussed about the Rousseau's social contract. So if any student have any query or any questions related to this social contract theory, so you can ask me. किसी कोई टॉपिक कोई समझ में नहीं आया है तो आप पूछ सकते हो. Any student have any doubt, any query? Okay, so I have one question for all of you. Now you can answer me the question. Uh, uh, how can we identify that if we have created any A, B, or C law, that law is representing the form of what you call representing the general will? How can we or how this such kind of law can be identified? Any student? Shivam, would you like to answer the question?
Um, so, if we have created a law under the general will, right? Yeah. So, like as it is, as you have mentioned the condition for general will, so it should consider opinions of all the people to which it is going to affect after implementing, and all the people who are under that law should be treated equally in that sense, and as a common will, what those people, if it's about us in those who are present in this class, let's suppose that bill is for us. So it should support the common cause between us, what we support. So I think these are the three important things that that bill should support for a general will.
So, can
Okay.
it be voted upon?
Yes, it is not a voting kind of thing. Voting will means that we are counting the major versus minor. Means, for example, if you can do the voting here in this classroom, what will happen? That we are negating some person. Means, for example, in this classroom, 12 students are here. 11 students have voted in the favor of Shivam, and one student have favored the Sasank. Or even though Sasank have voted for self. So the general will doesn't mean to remove any single person, first of all. Second thing, he has said that there is common consensus is there, means all the students have consensus on the principle that we are going to pass this A law, because this A law is not what you call is not harming the any one single person in this classroom, but it is helping the others, and all of the students are participating or what you call passing this law because it is for the other purpose. Other purpose means to help the other student rather than the self interest. For example, Anushka, you are trying to support this model that now we need to see that all the students should have to support the other persons related to exam, that how other person can achieve the highest marks, and whosoever will do such kind of work, that will be appreciated or that will be rewarded. So such kind of law we can make where we are taking making the law not for the purpose of self but for the purpose of others. So there is no voting is there.
Okay, sir.
Yes, yes, go ahead with the somebody has raised their hand.
Uh, Hi, sir.
Yes,
So,
Anit, Aditi.
if Rousseau is supporting liberty in a way, then how can we say that? Because he's saying that, in general, will people work for others' interests, but does he like have a very optimistic opinion about the human nature? Because people in general, if we see, people don't usually work for others, right? They work for themselves. They will also, like, they're not that altruistic in that sense. They will work for others, but they'll also see that, okay, it's benefiting me as well. So is he like enforcing general will in a way that you need to work for others? Like, what is the logic behind it?
Very good question, Aditi. I can give your question answer into the two examples. I will give you two examples. One example is when you are when you are traveling through the metro and you are helping any needy person that, okay, ma'am, okay, sir, please take the seat because it is required and you are not feeling well. So please take the seat. One way you have helped the other, on the other way you have what you call boosted yourself, or internal consciousness have told you that means you need to prefer the seek to the needy person, so internally you feel good. So one hand you have done the work for the others, and also what you call benefited to the self, because internally you felt very good, or very such kind of good feeling was there inside you. This is one form. The another form is you are preparing the notes for the other student, for Unnati, not for what you call helping her to see the best marks in the examination, but you are preparing the notes for the self basis, that okay, at least I can also score good marks apart from the Unnati will also. So these are the two important examples. So in this example, what Rousseau has said that whenever a person is taking the decision, the priority one should always be the other person to help the other. The second priority will be the self. Means in the first example which I have given you, the metro is the perfect example of the general will. Whereas the second example where Unnati, you have tried to prepare the notes for your self-interest was the priority, whereas helping the Unnati was the secondary. So his whole thing was lied on the principle of how we can help the other persons rather than helping self or protecting and promoting the self-interest. This example, it may have clarified your doubt. Second thing, you have very well raised the point of liberty. For example, if you can imagine a time, imagine yourself that if you are only concerned about self-related right, okay, how can I eat? What food I need to eat? So Rousseau has said that you don't have the liberty because you are binded by your own corrupt thought, corrupt mind, corrupt activity related to the self. You don't have the liberty. You are really liberty will prevail when you will take the decision not only related to the self but also related to the others too.
Okay, so like that is how it's different from Locke's because Locke focuses on individual. All right, got it. Thank you.
So any other student have any doubt or query?